everyone. I'm here to talk to you today about an exciting project called the Children's Choice Awards. The Children's Choice Awards, or CCA for short, is where we encourage students, 5th and 6th graders in particular, to read a list of 8 selected titles and then vote for their favorite one. Now, sometimes to read 8 books in 1 year, on top of everything else that you have going on, can be a little challenging, and I get that. We all get that and we understand. So even if you read only 4 out of the 8 books, you can still participate and vote in the CCA program. So that's a little bit about how CCA works. Now I want to tell you about the 8 great books that are on the list this year. The first one is an historical fiction book called Max in the House of Spies. Now, it's a World War II story, and I don't know how much you know about World War II. Probably not a lot yet, and that's okay. You'll learn about it as you get older. But World War II was a tragic time in history where a dictator named Adolf Hitler wanted to take over. And so World War II started when he invaded Poland, right? Because he didn't think the people living in Poland were as worthy as he was, and he wanted to get rid of them. So he killed them. And he killed many, many Jewish people too, simply because he didn't believe in their religion. He didn't share those beliefs. Essentially, Hitler felt like he was better than everybody else, right? And he wanted to take over. And unfortunately, many, many people died. So in this book, Max's family is in danger because they're Jewish. And so they send Max away for his own safety. Now imagine being Max's age, 12 years old, which you are, right? And being sent away from your family to a new land that you've never gone to before, having to attend a new school, make new friends, maybe not even speak the same language. But many families did this at this time because they loved their kids so much and they wanted to save them. So they would sneak them off to different countries with different families in order to protect them, without knowing if they would even ever see them again. So that's the case for Max. He's sent away to London, and he doesn't want to leave his mom and dad, but he must. And eventually, with his new family, he does become settled, and he learns to not only accept them, but to actually like them, enjoy their company, and even love them, especially his 2 uncles. Well, one day he discovers that his one uncle is a spy. And so Max wants to become a spy too. Now, do you know how dangerous it is to train to become a spy? Do you know how hard it is to actually achieve that, to become a spy? So how in the world would a 12-year-old kid be able to even do something like that, right? But I'll tell you this, Max is persistent, and Max is super smart. Max is stubborn, and Max is very brave. So I'm not going to tell you what happens, but I will tell you that this story is interesting and scary and exciting all at the same time. And it will keep you on the edge of your seat. Talk about a cliffhanger at the end, right? Do you know what a cliffhanger is at the end of a book or a movie? It's kind of like they leave you hanging and you have to wait until the next book or the next episode to see what happens next. This is going to be a series, or at least there will be a sequel. It comes out in a couple months, and I, for one, cannot wait to read it. So it ends with a very exciting moment, and it kind of, again, leaves you on the edge of your seat. So I highly recommend Max in the House of Spies. It's written by Adam Gidwitz. And you know, historical fiction, when I was your age, didn't like history at all. But now I love reading these types of books because now I enjoy learning about history and learning about these different time periods. And I think the other reason I like it so much is because it really allows me then to empathize with the characters, right? So it's one thing to feel bad for somebody and kind of take pity on them, but it's another thing to actually feel what they're feeling. And when I read these types of books, I feel what those characters are feeling, right? I start to share their same thoughts, and their fears become my fears. And so you can really connect with these characters and learn so much at the same time. So I love historical fiction, and I love this book in particular, #1 on the list, and I highly recommend. Another book on the list is Ferris by Kate DiCamillo. Now, she too might sound familiar to you. She's the author of the Mercy Watson series and Because of Winn-Dixie and A Tale of Despereaux, right? I know you know her books. This is her latest, and it's about a girl named Ferris because she's born underneath the Ferris wheel at a carnival one summer. And it's sort of a ghost story. Do you believe in ghosts? I'm not really sure that I do. Even after reading this story, I'm still not so sure. But Ferris does. And Ferris believes in ghosts because her grandma believes in ghosts. So Ferris, again, is about your age. It's the summer before she enters 5th grade. And she's having a little bit of a rough summer, right? Her little sister is as annoying as possible and always getting into trouble. So mom and dad really don't have a lot of time to give Ferris attention because they're always so busy reining in her little sister. Her uncle is now living in the basement because he's fighting with his wife. And to top it all off, her grandma, who she adores, is really sick and spending a lot of time in bed. So it's a little bit of a rough summer. Now, she does have a very, very true, very best friend that gets her through tough times, right? They actually spend every day together. And even though she's sick, she also spends a lot of time with Grandma Charisse because she'll go up and she'll visit her in her bedroom and she'll talk to her about anything and everything. And Grandma Charisse loves the company and she'll talk to Ferris about anything and everything, including ghosts. So one day while they're having this bedroom chat, Grandma says that there is a ghost that's visiting her bedroom every night. Ferris doesn't know if she should believe her at first, but after some time, she is convinced. So Ferris and Grandma Charisse stew up a plan to get rid of the ghost because they believe the ghost keeps coming because it needs something, right? So they have to help this ghost in order for her to be able to move on. So they stew up this plan together. So it is a fun story, just a heartwarming story, full of like family and love. And yeah, I don't want to give too much of it away, but I highly recommend Ferris as well. Now, as you go along, boys and girls, and you read these books, there is a bookmark that we have available on our website. You can get it from your school librarian too, or you can come to the Bethel Park Public Library to pick one up. But you can kind of keep track as you go. Max and the House of Spies, I gave 5 stars, right? Because I loved that book. I really liked Ferris too, so I colored 4.5 stars. But this will just help you kind of keep track. So come March when it's time to vote, you'll, can kind of like refer to this and be like, oh yeah, I really liked that one. I gave that 4 stars. And you'll kind of have to, it'll help you maybe narrow it down. Now again, I like doing this just because it's fun. But my vote isn't going to matter, right? The teachers aren't picking, the librarians aren't picking, your parents don't have a say. It's called the Children's Choice Awards because we are empowering you to choose the best one. Okay, that was just a little side note. Let's talk books some more. I read this one recently called The Secret Language of Birds. And this book is about a girl named Nina. And Nina is kind of an odd bird. Funny, the title has birds in the title, but we refer to her as being an odd bird too. And why? What does that mean? Did you ever hear anyone say that? If you're an odd bird, it maybe just means that you have trouble fitting in with others, right? Because you're different. You like different things. And it's okay to be different. We actually celebrate that. But sometimes if you can never find anything in common with anyone else, then it can be a little bit difficult, right? Because you might get lonely. And such is the case for Nina. Now, her parents think it's a good idea that maybe she go off and spend some time at summer camp. And maybe she'll make friends there and just, do well at summer camp. So they send her off even though she doesn't want to go. But her aunt is actually in charge of the camp. And her aunt is kind of an odd bird herself. So it's okay because they understand one another and they get along. Well, Nina also happens to love birds. She's actually kind of like obsessed and very, very knowledgeable about birds of all types. She kind of like connects with birds and feels like the birds speak to her. So while she's at this camp, she's connecting with nature and it turns out to be okay. It actually turns out to be better than okay, because while she's there, Nina discovers a bird's nest. It happens to be whooping crane's bird nest, which is important and kind of special because whooping cranes shouldn't even be on the campground or really even in Texas because it's a rare species and it's an endangered species. So when Nina discovers this whooping crane's nest, she becomes very, very curious and very, very passionate about helping them and finding out more. And so there's actually a little bit of a mystery that's connected with this whooping crane nest that Nina helps to solve. So 12-year-old girl, and she kind of goes off to camp and she helps solve this bird mystery, and she might make a few friends along the way. So that's the secret language of birds. Next we have the night librarian, but you might be tired of me talking already. So let's take a little break and I'll show you the book trailer that we created for this one, for The Night Librarian by Christopher Lincoln. So another one of the CCA titles that I read and loved is called Slugfest by Gordon Korman, another popular author who you might know. So what does it mean to be a jock? If you're a jock, it means you're very, very athletic, right? You're great at sports. If you're a slug, it's kind of the opposite of being a jock, right? You're lazy, you're not very coordinated, you're not very athletic. So in this book, the main character is a jock. He's great at all sports: baseball, basketball, football, you name it. Football happens to be his favorite. And he's so good that he thinks he can be the starting QB next year, at least for the JV team. Okay, he's in 8th grade, he's starting high school, he wants to be the starting quarterback of the JV team. But if you know anything about football, when do you train? Football season is in the fall, right? So you're training all summer. And he can't train because he has to go to summer school. Now, ironically, he is in summer school because he has to make up a gym credit. Of all the classes, this jock who is so good at sports failed gym class. Okay, so he's in summer school to make it up so that he can graduate from 8th grade. Now, everybody else in the gym class isn't a jock, they're a slug. So it's really, really hard for him in the beginning because what am I doing here with, all these guys? This is going to be terrible. They don't even know how to throw a ball, yada, yada, yada. But as summer goes on, he kind of takes a journey and, figures some things out and starts to understand some things and actually befriends this group of slugs, and they actually become close. And I don't want to give too much of the story away. I already told you that they become friends, but I won't tell you whether or not he makes that football team next year or if he's starting QB. You'll have to read it yourself to find out. But this one is humorous and, realistic. It's realistic fiction. It's very easy to relate to. I enjoyed getting to know all the characters because they're each unique in their own way, and they're all in that class for a different reason. So it's a great story that I too think you will enjoy. And it's one of the ones that'll go like probably a little bit faster for you. I thought it was a pretty quick read. All right, we can keep moving on because like I said, there are 8 titles in all. The next one is called Forces of Nature, and it's a story about Rachel Carson. And if you haven't heard from her or about her, she is a very important historical figure. She was a female biologist and environmental activist who actually is from right here in Pittsburgh. So this one was especially interesting to read about, and I'll show you the trailer for this book as well. Here is Forces of Nature by Anna E. Berg. And there are actually 2 final titles on the CCA list that I'm not going to talk about yet anyway, because I haven't read them yet. They're actually on hold for me. But these copies just came in, so I can read them. This one's called Wicked Marigold. It's by Caroline Carson, who has written other stories that we have here in the library. She actually is from Pittsburgh. I think she lives in the Squirrel Hill area. I got to meet her before. She's a great author, but also just a great lady to get to know. And Wicked Marigold, I'm sure, is going to prove to be a great book. It's fantasy-ish, so if you like fantasy novels, this one is for you, and maybe it'll be the first one that you want to read out of all 8, if that's what you enjoy. And the other one that I still have to read is called Trouble at the Tangerine. This one is on hold for me on Libby. I don't know if you know about Libby, but this is a great time to kind of talk to you about it. That's a free app that you can download to your device and listen to audiobooks. So if you want to read this and we don't have a copy available, maybe you can get it from Libby and then listen to it. Okay, because that's what I plan on doing with this one, Trouble at the Tangerine. So I hope I've piqued your curiosity. I hope you're a little bit interested in reading these titles. If you plan on reading even 1 or 2, then you should definitely consider signing up for the CCAs, right? Because chances are you can get 4 completed by spring. That's when the voting takes place, is March. Okay, so if you don't read all 8, that's okay, but try to read 4. As an extra incentive to do so, we're raffling off a $50 Amazon gift card to anyone who reads at least 4 out of the 8. So we'll drop your name into that raffle. We'll pull the winner at the end of March. And you may just be the recipient of a $50 Amazon gift card. How cool, right? We are also giving away a full set of the books, and we're actually going to make that a winter reading prize, which is something else that I kind of wanted to talk to you about. I know I'm throwing all this information at you, but this is good stuff too. For the month of January, we run a winter reading club where you track the time that you spend reading. So if you start reading these books, you can color in on your bookmark, every 20 minutes. Those 20 minutes are going to keep adding up, and then you can enter those bookmark raffle tickets into our winter reading prizes. This set of books is going to be one of the prizes, okay? But there's Target gift cards, there's art sets, there's games, there's lots of great stuff that we're giving away. So this video is mostly to tell you about the CCAs, but I also want to tell you about winter reading. You can find out more information about both of those programs on our website, or give us a call, or better yet, stop in and see us in person, okay? We can get you all signed up. We'll get you all the information that you need. Bookmarks are printable from our website. Again, I think I already said that, but just so you know, all the titles are already in our collection or available on Libby, so you can start reading as early as today. So it was great seeing you, boys and girls. I hope to see you again soon, and I hope you will consider participating in the annual Children's Choice Awards. It's a great program. See you soon.